Hey, Dave Ryder here from BreakthroughMindsets.com, and in this video we're going to talk about anxiety symptoms treatment. So if you go to open your browser and you go to Google and you Google anxiety symptoms, what you're going to find is you're going to find many reputable websites that are going to give you a list of symptoms like panic and fear, uneasiness, sleep problems, like not being able to relax, be calm, maybe even cold, sweaty, numb, and tingling hands and feet, shortness of breath, heart palpitations, dry mouth, stomach problems, upset stomach, muscle tension, dizziness, things like that. And most of these websites, they say that these are symptoms as a result of mental illness and psychological or social diseases. Then, of course, they recommend medications or psychiatry or traditional psychotherapy. And that stuff just doesn't work. No way. I'm not doing that again. I've been there and I've done that. And I'm telling you, I know what anxiety is. I know how I create it, and I can show you how you create it too. If you believe that you've got a mental illness, that can make you get really stuck. And that's not good because you're not really stuck. The truth is that anxiety is not a disease. It's not a mental illness. Even though you may feel mentally ill and disease, anxiety is something that you've learned how to produce. And it's a skill that you get good at, because you can't feel anxiety unless you produce it successfully. It's the result of how you use your mind around your life and what happened to you in the past. And drugs have never changed in the mind what's happened before in the past. You only suppress parts of your brain so that you can cope with those symptoms. All right? And that's not a treatment at all. That's called codependency, or a parasitic relationship where you rely on something that drains your energy or drains your resources and finances that doesn't actually solve the problem. Anxiety is a trance state that we get ourselves in from our thinking and conditioned mindsets. And we do it automatically through practicing over and over again. And just like with people that smoke cigarettes, when you smoke throughout your day, nearly everything can become a trigger that starts those cravings. And it's the same thing with anxiety. There are very specific things that trigger that. And if you practice anxiety throughout your day, you'll get triggered by certain events. That's just conditioning. Sometimes it's just thinking about doing something that's outside of your comfort zone. Sometimes it's a social situation. But it's not really the social situation or going outside of your comfort zone that's the problem. Those are neutral activities in themselves. It's what we practice doing inside ourselves, to ourselves, in our own mind, over and over again, that creates the problem. What you think and believe determines your brain chemistry. Now, our brains are actually organic pharmacies, and that produce chemicals and chemistry based on our thoughts and our beliefs. Even the subconscious thoughts. So what we believe about things in our past, our present, and our future, relationships, work, finances, will determine what genes are expressed in our DNA. That's called epigenetics. So your habitual thoughts, your memorized emotional feelings create your mindsets that are can be like mind traps. And they create trance-like perceptions of reality that just aren't true. So it's important to learn how to break through these old mindsets. And one of the things that I tell my clients is, when you start to feel that anxiety, when it starts to come about, when you first start to feel it come on, that's a ritual. And it can start by just thinking about certain things. For example, and then you start asking yourself silly questions like, why am I so messed up? How did I get so messed up? What's wrong with me? And this is kind of like rubbing salt in the wound, and I would say, I ought to, or I should be able to talk with this person and not feel like I'm going to die, or it's life or death. Another situation might be just fantasizing and telling yourself, I know I'd feel better if I just didn't feel this anxiety, if I didn't have these anxiety attacks. Our own inner dialogue and thinking starts the trance. So you want to break that trance because you want to break it before it gets too strong, and then you lose yourself in that state of mind. You break the pattern. Spontaneously jump up and start doing jumping jacks, star jumps, or jump up and down 10 times as high as you can. Use your neurology and go on your favorite vacation for 30 seconds. Pick one thing and break the pattern. And if you repeat breaking the pattern, you're going to start breaking that trance. You're going to stop habitually, like a default reaction, going into anxiety. And sometimes it can be challenged doing it by yourself. But listen, you can do something physically or mentally to break the pattern. All right, but make sure you completely and totally let go of that anxiety in between. Like when you go on that mental vacation, you really go on that mental vacation. Go there and feel it. Listen to the sound of the waves. Remember what it tasted like to have that, whatever the drink was, the rum and whatever, the margarita, whatever it is that you like to drink. Remember how good that was. Remember the sun on your skin. Remember the sound. Remember all the colors, the ocean, the sky, the beach, the sounds, the smells. Really be there and break that trance. All right. Each time you go back then to that anxiety or what triggered that anxiety, you'll notice a difference. It's going to start going down. It's going to get less and less and less. All right. But you want to do this when you're going into the trance. So what you'll notice then is that it gets harder and harder to bring back. And if it's a really strong anxiety or panic attack, it means that you've conditioned a very powerful state of mind. But guess what? You programmed it, so you can change it. There's no doubt in my mind that you can change your state of mind. Sometimes these can seem impossible to change, but they aren't. It's just conditioning, and you need to learn how to unlearn a few things. And maybe you need to learn a new mindset and start practicing different thoughts and maybe a new reaction to your old default conditioned thoughts. So the treatment that works for you is when you address the structure of your anxiety inside. If you've focused on situations or solutions outside of yourself, it's going to be a big struggle, right? You're never going to find the relief that you need for long because nothing changed inside. So break through your conditioned thoughts and beliefs. Break through your old mindsets. And there's absolutely no doubt that you can overcome anxiety. You can do it faster and better with help. And we've seen it in every race, every religion, every nationality, every gender you can possibly imagine. So you're not alone. Treatment for anxiety that works is not for the lucky few, but it's only for those that make a decision that they're ready for change. Not taking the new prescription drugs, not telling your story over and over again, but tapping into a new state of mind and changing what's inside. Anxiety is created in the mind. So working with the mind is the only thing that works. It's the only thing that will work. It's the only thing that makes sense. And that's why what I'm talking about works so well, because we're dealing with the source in the cause, not the symptom in the effect. Wayne Dyer told a story that I like that demonstrates this point. One day there was a guy looking for his keys outside under the streetlight, and his friend came by and said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "Well, I'm looking for my keys." And he goes, "Well, would you like a hand?" And he said, "Yeah, heck yeah, I would. Come on, help me find my keys." So they're looking and looking and looking, and after a while, his friend starts to get kind of tired. And he says, I don't see your keys anywhere around here. Where'd you actually drop them?" And he said, "Well, I dropped them in the house." He goes, "What are we doing down here looking for the keys when you dropped them inside the house? That makes no sense at all." He said, "Well, inside the house it's dark. And so I thought I'd come out here where it's light and look for the keys out here." Well, that's kind of what the scenario that we have with our mind. These things inside that are dark, invisible, they're intangible, they're abstract. We don't go there to try to resolve these because we're not shown how, we're not conditioned how to deal with these things. So we look outside of us and look for the keys, where it's light, where it's bright. But that's not where our keys are. They're inside. All right, so we need to look inside where we left the keys. All right, they're inside. They're not outside. And breakthrough mindsets is kind of like that powerful spotlight. Like the Batman spotlight. That illuminates the inside so that you can find the keys and you can just go get them. It's no big deal. But most people spend their time putting their attention outside looking for the keys. Don't be discouraged if it seems to be slow and difficult and it feels isolating and lonely by yourself. Just reach out if you need a hand. Look for the solution and you'll start to see the answers. Listen to the truth and you'll hear exactly what you need at exactly the right time. Thanks for watching. See you next time.